Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Yoga Universe, presented by Grind TV, where we practice yoga from all over the universe. Today, we are live from a creepy haunted house. Ooh, spooky. My name is Meg Tuazon Shemai from Summit to Sea Yoga, and this is Mike Sherbakoff from the Greatness Foundation. Today's theme is yoga for men. We're showing all of you men out there a recovery flow for post and power workouts. I often hear men saying that they don't practice yoga because they aren't flexible enough. Well, it's not all about flexibility, and it's exactly what you want to do for your body maintenance and all of your sports. Like I said, it's never too late, so here we go. This is Mike Sherbakoff. Like I said, he is a former Marine, MMA trainer, a dad, surfer, and yogi. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about why you practice yoga and why it's helped you in all of your activities?
Yeah, absolutely. I found that 5 years on active duty in the Marines, and I was training this hand-to-hand combat, and I was lifting weights all the time, and I found my body I wasn't giving it the time to recover that it needed. And so I found myself really tight. I couldn't touch my toes. I was always in pain. My back, my joints, my knees, everything just hurt all the time. And then as soon as I started practicing, I started noticing a lot more mobility, a lot more flexibility, and also a lot of the peace of mind that came with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I actually ran a triathlon 2 days ago, so this is perfect because we ran through La Jolla, ran all the way up and down the hills, so my quads and hamstrings and hips are pretty tight, so I'm looking forward to it today.
Okay, good. We'll do lots of post-recovery workout for exactly where you're at. All right, well, let's begin. Let's start our post-recovery flow laying on your belly, on child's pose, actually, facing this way, yeah. This way, yeah. So this might take a little bit of time to settle in. Based on your own knees and your hip flexibility, your knees can either be out nice and wide or more narrow toward your side bodies. And as you allow your hips to gently ease back, Mike's back and hips are probably feeling really, really tight right now, just with all the flexion and that continuous running positioning. So here you can also rest your forehead, third eye lightly to the mat, and we'll just get into your breaths. So take a couple deep breaths in through your nose, and then an open mouth exhale. Another deep breath in, cleansing breath out. And let's do one more. Good, and then welcome in your Ujjayi breathing. This is the breath of yoga. As you inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose, creating this gentle rhythm and this humming in the back of your throat, this very warming breath. And so our breaths are so powerful, they align us to practicing this present state of mind, this quieting from the inside out. And so no matter where you're at for today, this can really be the true practice of practicing stillness and silence. And I'm going to use some essential oils for Mike to inhale. This is eucalyptus, supportive for him to practice the breath body, to welcome in breath into healthy lungs, to receive all of the benefits of the plant body. And so after 3 more breaths, finding this rhythm, this true music of your practice, go ahead and set an intention or a mantra for your day. This might be the time to choose a special message, powerful word, something to set the tone. This is the time to check in. And when you're ready, go ahead and rise up to tabletop position, stacking your shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Root the tops of your feet down so your ankles get a nice stretch, so your toenails can actually root, yeah. And as you breathe in, dip your belly, heart tucks forward for cow pose, broadening through your collarbones. Good. And then exhale to round and hollow, being really gentle, awakening in your body, really rooting into the tops of your feet. Inhales to dip your belly, heart tugs forward and through. And then exhale to round and to hollow out. Nice. Now curl the toes, finding neutral spine, and draw big circles way over towards one side. Good. All the way up and around. If it feels nice to hug out one side a little longer, you could do that and then switch directions. Yeah, awakening through the hips and the glutes, hamstrings, finding your flow of your breath. Good. Find your neutral tabletop and step your right foot up toward your right wrist for half splits. Yeah, take your time. Shimmy your hips back. Now you can use blocks if you'd like. Nice. And keeping this back toes curled under, extending the heel forward, micro bending in the front knee as much as you need to, and then just lengthening your chest forward, breathing into this right side. Good. Now place your left palm down or underneath the block, or maybe even a can of soup. Extend the right arm up towards the sky. Nice. Steer your front toes outright. Dip the right hip down just a smidge, moving into your IT band and extending through your chest and your heart. Nice. And then release. Low lunge, crawl forward, back knee lifts. Good. Place your left palm down or underneath the block, right arm up towards the sky, twisted low lunge. Now really ground into your toes. Feel the legs do more of the work, even the glutes. And welcome in this gentle twist, opening through your chest. And then slowly release. Gaze forward, big step forward for ragdoll with super bent knees, especially for Mike after post triathlon. Nice. So feet are parallel, the shoulders and the head can relax. You can sway from side to side. And then find your center, place your left palm down or underneath your face or on the block, right arm up towards the sky as you bend into your left knee and extend right arm up, charging through the right side. We're keeping a micro bend, rooting through the right pinky toe all the way up through the right hip, the glutes. Nice. Now rotate your wrist one direction and the other. Good. Streamline your arm forward, reach towards those creepy trees. Tug this right hip back. Nice. And then gaze down, release. Switch sides, bend into the right, charge through the left. Extend your heart upward, outward, and really invite your breath through this whole left side, IT band, glutes. Rotate your wrist one direction and the other. Nice breath. Stretch your arm forward. Good. Tug the scapula back and gaze down, release. Place your palms to your hips, elbows point to the sky, knees bend. Lead with your crown and rise. Come all the way up, Tadasana. Stretch your arms up and overhead. Take a deep breath in. And then palms come to heart. Exhale. Soften your shoulders down. Find connection into your feet and the grounding. Good. Inhale, arms up and over. Palms through heart. Bend your knees as you fold forward. Take your time. Good. Palms to shins. Halfway lift, heart forward. Now plant your palms and step back to plank pose. Hold your plank for a moment. Spread the fingers wide. So we'll do a variation of chaturanga just to release into the arms, and it's really good for your low back. So shift forward an inch, lower to your knees, lift your toes up toward your glutes. Good. Lead with your chin in your chest. Elbows pinned toward your ribs and your tailbone lifts up towards the sky. Nice, really good for that, again, release in low back and the release in your hip flexors. Now root your toes, hips, everything down. Come up to a gentle cobra, back of your neck nice and long, and then exhale, release your chin, push to tabletop, staying on the knees, palms. Good, and then widen the knees, big toes touch, press back to child's pose. Nice. So as your hips awaken and even your arms awaken, you can stretch the arms forward, making it a little more active. One breath here. Next, inhale, rise, tabletop position. Step your left foot forward in between the palms. You can get your blocks and props handy for that half splits, shimmying the hips back, keeping the right hip stacked right over the knee. Lengthening heart forward, each side's a little different, so you might adjust each variation. Good. And energizing this heel and hip backward, yeah. Now as you push down into the right palm, extend left arm up towards the sky. Good, start to open through your chest and then steer your front toes out left. Dip the hip down just a smidge, moving into, again, IT band, glutes. And as you exhale, release, low lunge, crawl forward. Back knee lifts, smear into your back toes, right palm or fingertips down, left arm up, open, twist. Tucking through the right ribs, almost inviting your heart to lean back a little bit. And exhale, release, gaze forward, big step or a couple steps to get there, standing forward folds. Ragdoll, again, knees really bent, toes spread wide. This time, palms to shins. Good. Lead with your heart and then rise all the way up to Tadasana. Inhale and exhale, palms to heart. Good. Arms up and over. Breathe in. Fold forward, knees can bend, bow all the way down. Take your time. Nice. Palms to shins, halfway lift. Plant your palms, step to plank. In that variation of chaturanga, shift forward, lower to your knees, lift your toes, lead with your chin and your chest, elbows pin in toward your ribs. Nice. Now slide your pelvis, toes down, gentle cobra. Inhale, back of your neck long, nice. Exhale, release, curl the toes, push to tabletop. Widen the knees, press back, child's pose, exhale. Good. Couple breaths. And as you inhale, rise, tabletop. Walk the knees back a couple inches, lift the tailbone, press back, downward facing dog. So just check in with your body. You can walk out your dog, pedal out your feet. Good. Micro bend in the knees. You can even take the really deep bend here so that your tailbone lifts just a little bit higher and your ribs can smear more toward your thighs. Now lift your right leg up and off. Bend the knee, open up through your hip. You can micro bend in your left knee a whole lot and just draw big circles with your knee inward and out. Get into your hip joint, yeah. Re-extend, lift the legs, square the hips, and then step all the way through to a lunge. Lower to your back knee, modified crescent. Interlace the fingers on top of your right thigh. Pulse your hips front to back a couple times. Breathing into this left hip flexor. Feel connection through your toes. You can curl the back toes for more stability if you'd like, making sure the knee is stacked right over the ankle. Now stretch your arms up and overhead. Strong through the legs, palms come through your heart. Revolve crescent to the right. Left elbow hooks to the outside of the right knee. So elbow into knee, knee into elbow. Find length right here from the crown of your head down through the tailbone, broadening through the collarbones, and just take really generous and compassionate breaths. So while you twist, you're exhaling your breaths out, shedding layers, finding your present space in your mind. One more breath. Nice. And then slowly release, palms to the inside, runner's lunge. Should feel really good. Toe heel your foot up and right. You can stay up on the palms. You can use the blocks or even a pillow if you like, or cushion, maybe lower down to the elbows or forearms. And if you'd like to make this really relaxed, again, pelvis can be heavy. The front knee can even drape out right, rolling onto the knife edge of your foot. If you're feeling like you want it to be more active, the back knee can lift, the front knee can hug closer toward the shoulder. And Mike can stay right here. Good. So when we create space on our hip flexors, especially with all those flexion sports like running, biking, even popping up for surfing, climbing, hiking, it's really great to get the length in the front body to release all the crunching, the tightness that happens in the back body. All right, so let's rise back up to your palms. We'll take a quad stretch, left palm down on the block option. Maybe just beyond your left shoulder a little bit, right arm up and back for your back toes. Nice. Good, and you can use a strap here as well, or even a t-shirt for some of you. And then as you let the left ribs tuck under, allow your chest to open up and guide the heel and the hip about halfway, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice. And then slowly release the back toes. Low lunge. You can move the blocks. Align your front knee to the hip, back knee lifts. So heart lengthens forward. Couple steps or one step to get there. A gentle standing splits. Spring forward. Nice. Now you can use the blocks right there, the floor option if you'd like. But try to level your hips. It's more about the hamstring stretch rather than how high you're lifting your leg. Push down on the floor of the blocks to create a half lift to lengthen. And then left foot meets your right, standing forward fold, bow down. Nice. So peace finger your big toes like little hooks. Feet stay hips width, Baddha Konasana, create a half lift to lengthen and then a fold forward. Elbows bow out, elbows reach forward. So you're using the strength of your biceps here. Nice. And then release your toes. Lead with your crown palms to hips. Rise all the way up to Tadasana, arms up and overhead. Interlace your fingers. Steeple mudra, index fingers release. Spread the toes wide. Soften the shoulders down, reach up and over to your right, a gentle half moon. So there's equal space from your biceps to your ears. You're gently scooping the right shoulder slightly forward, lifting your quads up and off from your knees. Ground down, come back to center. Exhale up and over to your left. Your throat opens just a little bit as if you're squeezing an orange to your throat. Nice. Ground, come back to center and release your palms back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Yep. Squeeze your heels of your palms, lift up through your chest. Big breath in and then fold forward, knees bend. Stretch your knuckles away from your low back. Again, you can use a strap or towel here. Nice. Release the palms down. Good. Lead with the crown again and rise all the way up to Tadasana. Ground into your right leg. Left leg lifts, single leg Tadasana. Flex to the floating foot, lift from your chest. Figure four. So focus on a drishti out in front. Mike's going to focus on some creepy trees, maybe a ghost. And like you're sitting in a chair, we're just here for a moment. I know it's probably tight on your hips. Lift from your chest and energize the glutes back. You're inviting your left knee downward towards the floor. Good. Ground rise, come back up. Single leg Tadasana. Breathe in, hike the knee up, and slowly release. Nice. Other side. So left leg grounds, right leg lifts, heart lifts. Figure four, cross the ankle, up and over, sink down low. Lengthen through your chest, heart lifts. Good. Ground, come back up. Single leg Tadasana, arms up. And slowly release. Good. Arms down by your sides. Good. Spread the toes wide, ground to the feet. Inhale, arms up. And fold forward, bow down, knees bend. Palms to shins, halfway lift, heart forward. Plant your palms, step to plank. Good. Shift forward an inch, lower to your knees. Toes, heels kick up. Lead with your chin in your chest. Bow down, release in your low back. Root your toes, pelvis down. Gentle cobra, come up halfway. Exhale, release. Curl the toes, push to tabletop. Widen the knees. Exhale, child's pose. Stretch your arms forward. And then stretch your arms up and over to the right. Create this side body stretch. Start to tug your left hip back. Use traction in your hands. And then crawl the palms up through center over to the left. Pull and tug this right hip back. Good. Find your center. come forward, tabletop as you inhale. Walk the knees back a couple inches, curl the toes, lift through the hips, press back, downward facing dog. Spiraling your biceps away from your ears. Maybe taking that deeper knee bend today. Always adjusting your practice to feel out and to connect with wherever your body's at. That's the true practice. Lift your left leg up. Bend the knee, open up through your hip. Draw big circles. You can micro bend in the right knee again. Inward and out. Nice. Re-extend, lift the legs, square your hips, and gently step all the way through to lunge. Lower to your back knee. Interlace opposite pinky finger on top. Modified crescent. Pulse your hips front to back. Soften the shoulders down. And feel connection in your toes. We've got so much fascia and tendons, strong muscles in our feet that can do a lot of the work, alleviating from the support and work from our legs. So feel the arches even engage and lift. Now stretch your arms up and over. Breathe in. Exhale, palms through heart. Revolve, crescent, twist to your left. Right elbow hooks to the outside of the knee. So elbow into knee, knee into elbow. Again, strong back legs. Breathing into the right side, hip flexor. Softening the shoulders down like a clothes hanger. Imagine your collarbones really broadening. And then finding that pulse of your breath. The inhale is creating space and length. And exhales to turn and to rinse. Nice. One more breath. And your exhale breaths releases you to runner's lunge. Toe heel the front foot up and across. You might create more space and length right here, either staying on the palms or lowering down. And really taking breaths here, especially in the quieter posture. Feel the gravity do most of the work so that you can just relax. A huge part of the practice is to quiet, and I know it's always been a journey for me to even recognize where your thoughts go, and that's really the first step. It's easy to get caught up in our to-do list and to the past or the future, but the true practice is just the focus and quieting. And that might just be listening to your breath or repeating your intention or your mantra to you. Nice. All right, so let's go ahead and rise back up to your palms. You can shuffle the block just beyond the right shoulder if you'd like for your quad stretch. Yeah. And right palm down, left arm reaches back for the toes. And you can move the block just an inch over here if that's easier. Yeah, good, nice. And then as you tuck through the right ribs, you'll open through the heart. If it's tight on your knee, your kneecap, you can come more forward so you're on your actual quadricep. And you're guiding and greeting your heel and your hip about halfway, opening through your chest even here. Good. And slowly release. Low lunge, aligning your knee and your hip. Back knee lifts, heart lengthens forward. Good, standing splits, gentle standing splits, spring forward. Again, you can use the block or the ground for your support, leveling the hips, awakening on this left hamstring. Push down to create a half lift, lengthen, crown forward, heel back. Nice, and then standing forward fold, right foot meets your left. So this time, go ahead and toe heel your feet to the wide edges of your mat. Heels and toes out for frog. So you'll sit on a block, and just kind of find your center there so that all of your weight can actually settle right on the block. And now you can lean your torso forward, press your elbows into your knees and invite your knees back. So you're actually rolling onto the knife edges of your feet. This is really great to release in hip flexors, great for runners, great for the groins and the hip flexors. And now let gravity do the work. Let your heart dip forward, the crown of your head to lengthen. Nice. About 5 breaths here. Orange essential oil is a great oil to continue to build this citrus pop. It's great to bring about clarity and awakening. Good for your skin. Good for focus. All right, when you're ready, release your palms down. Parallel your feet standing forward fold like a wide prasarita. Tailbone lifts. Nice. Good. And then left palm down or underneath the block. Right arm up. Bend into the left. Extend right arm. Good. Slowly release. Switch sides. Right fingers down or on the block. Left arm lengthens. And release. Good. Squat and curl into a little ball. You can draw your feet to either touch or, lift your heels toward your glutes. Curl the chin in. Really dome out this back body. And then slowly come on down to your bum. Nice. Good. And then lift up through your chest. We'll take Supta Baddha Konasana, so soles of your feet touch. Knees butterfly out. Forward fold. Yeah. And then lift up through your chest, and then lean your heart forward. Press your elbows down. Encourage your ankles to lift upward, but keep the knife edges of your feet rooted. Feel length through the crown. Again, a nice stretch in low back and your inner groins. And then lift up through your chest. Stretch your legs forward. Extend your arms, palms to face the sky. Lift up through your chest and then slowly lower all the way down, one vertebra at a time. Nice. Stretch your arms up and overhead, legs forward. Take a full breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Nice. Bend into your knees, arms down by your sides. Figure 4 legs. So root your feet down close to your glutes and cross your right ankle over your left. Flex through the right foot, and then interlace your fingers through that triangle, that hamstring. And then start to root your tailbone downward, shoulder blades stay rooted down. Encourage your right knee to root forward towards the floor, but your tailbone and your hips continue to plug down and energize down. And slowly release, switch sides. Cross your left ankle over right, flex to the left. And then you can thread your palms underneath the hamstring, maybe on top of the shin. And again, encourage your tailbone to root down, the forearms or the shoulder blades to plug down toward the floor. You can even tuck your chin so the back of your neck is nice and long. And slowly release. Hug your knees toward your chest. Cup your palms over your kneecaps. Keep your big toes touching like little butterfly circles. Just draw your knees out and forward like you're rowing a boat. Knees out and forward. Nice broad, wide circles. Let your pelvis and your hips rock front to back. And switch directions, knees forward and then out. Nice and wide, And then take happy babies. So stack your feet over your knees, knees out wide. Encourage your tailbone to root down, or you can wrap around your inner hamstrings, your ankles. Rock from side to side, encouraging the tailbone to plug down, shoulder blades to root. Staying in tune with your breath. And then hug your knees in toward your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze, forehead to knees. Give yourself big love and hug. And slowly release to Tadasana. So just take a couple moments to relax into your breath and your body. Shuffle your shoulders in a little bit to lift your heart. Tuck your chin so the back of your neck is long. And see how quickly you can melt into the earth. Perhaps just feel your intention, just see it right above your heart source, moving straight into your third eye, your source of intuition. And as you quiet, you're just building this sweet cocoon of peace and stillness all over you, setting the tone for your day. Allowing you to smell the oil called abundance. So take your time, start to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Reawaken your body, stretching your arms up and overhead. Take a full belly breath in. Exhale. Hug your knees in toward your heart. It's okay. And then roll onto one side to a supported fetal position to your left. There you go. And then gently rise up to your comfortable seat. You can sit on a block or a bolster. Good. And then feel your heart lengthen upward towards the sky. Stretch your arms forward and upward. Connect your palms in prayer and glide your thumbs to your third eye, source of intuition and wisdom. And just take a moment to honor yourself for showing up today for your practice. It's this continual practice and journey, checking in with wherever you're at in your body and your mind, honoring light and beauty in each and every one of us. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice practice.
Wow, I feel incredible.
Yay,
That was great.
good.
Thank you.
Well, post-triathlon, I'm sure you're probably hurting, so it's good to really relax into it.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a couple questions from you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Rob asked, what are best poses or sequences to build upper body strength? Well, upper body strength would be opposite of what we did today for Mike and his low body. Most of those would be chaturangas, proper chaturangas, whether it's through, and I can show these if you want, since you can take a break, or do you want to show a chaturanga?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, great. So we'll just show from a full chaturanga. We did a variation today, but your shoulders would stack over your wrists, fingers spread nice and wide. Two variations, we'll do the first one first. So you shift an inch forward, and then you lower halfway. So your elbows pin in toward your ribs. You really want this 90-degree bend through your elbows, and the crown of your head lengthens upward. Then you root into your tops of your feet, either roll or flip your feet, and lengthen upward facing dog. So the thighs and the knees are actually lifted. Your shoulders stack right over the wrists. Crown of your head can either be neutral, chin kind of tucked in, nice, fingers and toes really spread wide, and then when you're ready, curl the toes, press back, downward dog, nice. The variation, if that's too much, would be into shifting forward, plank pose, lowering to your knees, shift another inch forward, and then lower halfway. So just a halfway variation chaturanga. Nice. And then you can either come all the way down to cobra, gentle cobra, come up halfway, and then release, push back up to a plank, and downward dog. Yeah, there's a couple ways you can double up on your push-ups, but that's pretty much a great overview to build your upper body strength. Lots of arm variations, arm balances, handstands, dolphin pose in your downward dogs. There's quite a few variations. So keep it up. Awesome job, Rob. Scott asked, if you really aren't flexible at all, what's the best way for a guy to start doing yoga? What type of class should he go to? Well, Scott, great question.
Do you want me to answer that one?
Sure, go for
Well,
it.
it was funny because when I first went through yoga teacher training, I thought that I would be the least flexible yoga instructor in the entire world. When I first started doing yoga, I couldn't touch my toes at all. But there's just that very first step. It's showing up and taking the class, and all of a sudden the consistency of showing up really starts to make all the difference in the world. So most yoga studios kind of have a level 1 entry level class, and you'll probably start with those for the first few weeks or few months, and then if you want to move up to the 1.5s, the 2s, and start moving forward. But it's not about handstands, right? And it's not about
Yep.
these really fancy poses. It's about just getting in there and showing up consistently.
Totally. And I'll just tap on that. Did you feel like being a man, was it a woman-dominated thing? Or do you feel like now that you're practicing, it's like kind of there's a lot of men coming to yoga now?
I'm starting to notice a lot more men
do
in
too.
classes in general. I think it was probably 80-20, 70-30, and now it's kind of making the switch where I see more men in classes than I do women.
Me too, as an instructor, I totally
Yeah.
see a lot of men. So keep it up. It's really great for your sports hobby and your mind. Nice question, Scott. Daniel asked, what should guys wear to yoga?
Well, it's funny, when I first started practicing, all I had was board shorts, and that's what I wore. So you can wear board shorts, you can wear normal athletic shorts, you can, whatever you want. If you're taking a hot class, you'll probably end up taking your shirt off. So yeah,
sweaty.
anything you feel like you can get kind of flexible, move around, and mobile in, as long as it's not restricting any of your movement, right? Probably
Right.
nothing super baggy or big.
Totally. So I usually wear, I'm a girl, but Grace Big Grit is what I've been wearing all through all these Grind TV. But Grace Big Grit also designed a men's shirt, so which Mike is demoing today. So it's anything comfortable, breathable, flexible. Last question, Sam, do yoga and MMA complement one another, and how?
100%. Yeah, especially, we're here in San Diego right now, but it's kind of happening all over the world, where everyone in MMA is starting to realize that you need the flexibility. So especially, there's the stand-up game and there's the ground game. Once you start going to the ground and you're doing any form of jiu-jitsu, the flexibility really becomes a big factor of whether you're going to be successful in that sport or not. So there's a huge overlap with them, and they're seeing now that the guys that are doing yoga, that are working on their flexibility, are actually far more successful in general than the guys who are just really tight and only focusing on lifting heavy weights.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it'll only make you a stronger fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flexibility and all of your reaction time. I hear football players are like, yoga is like their other,
Yeah.
other sport hobby now.
And the interesting thing is, both of them, underlying more than anything else, more than the sports themselves, underneath it is breath. And anyone who does MMA or jiu-jitsu knows that if you're going in there and you're breathing as hard as you can and you're not focusing on your breath, you're going to lose, and you're going to fail pretty quickly. And same thing in yoga. If you're going in there, you're trying to force it, and you're not focusing on your breath, you won't last that long. And so it's all about, can we control our breath? Can we control our mind, even when it's in a stressful or a challenging environment or a pose?
Yeah, that's so good. And I'll just ask this last question. Do you notice, beyond the physical part of practicing yoga, in your life practice, has yoga made a difference for you in mindfulness, connection to people, relationships, all that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's, initially what gets people in the studio may be flexibility. It may be this, they want, more mobility. They just kind of want the physical benefits of yoga, which is great, and there are lots of them, right? But when you start taking class and when you start making yoga a consistent part of what you do on a daily basis, you'll start seeing significant improvements mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Truly, to be able to calm the mind, even in the most challenging situations, right? To understand that we don't have to react to like this knee-jerk response. If someone cuts us off on the highway, we can just kind of intelligently respond to it. And then spiritually, just connecting with whatever it is we feel like is out there, just to be able to calm everything down. It's almost like hitting the reset button every single day. So I definitely recommend it, even if it's a 5-minute practice at the beginning of your day, to start out your day that way. It really sets the tone to kind of take it on and to be able to be in control of it instead of letting the day run you.
Awesome, that's great. I love it. We love yoga. All right, thanks you guys so much for watching Yoga Universe. We are live Facebook every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and you can watch all over for free yoga workouts on Grind TV on the YouTube page. So thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
See you soon.
Bye.